What's going on, you professional fucking degenerates? I have no idea why you guys are even clicking on my channel. I have gone into like hibernation mode in January and December in the past like 3 months. I have kind of gone like Shadow Sage mode. I've gone like anime junkie mode. I posted like a video once a week, maybe twice. And yeah, it's been pretty shitty. Anyway, while I've been in my hibernation state, I haven't been doing nothing. I've been working on some things in the background. I've been learning 2D animation and some 2D illustration skills. Something to up my game in terms of what ifs, which anyone who's followed my art streams would know about. Make sure, check those out if you want. Speaking of art and animation in general, if you guys want to see more of my development in that, make sure to go over to my second channel, kindly linked up in the top right corner and in the description down below. Zankyo, that's Zankyo, Zankyo. Make sure to go check me out over there. It's a little bit more personal, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, today we'll be getting into something that a lot of you have been waiting for, which is what if Naruto was in Gurren Laggan? And something I've realized a lot during this year, and something that you guys have probably noticed as well, is I'm not exactly great at recording one big series in one go. So I've decided to give up on even trying to do that, because all that's accomplished is that I put it off over and over and over again, and I'm done with that. So sorry, there will not be a movie. I'll be doing this in parts like I usually do, because it's just more comfortable for me. So if you're, have an issue with that, then just pretend like this isn't even coming out and wait until the full movie drops, like most of my other series. Speaking of other series, I know this is a super long intro today, I'll be doing something in February that I'm going to be calling Throwback February, where I'll be going back in the past. There's several series that I have pretty much abandoned, or series that have just ended abruptly that aren't over, such as the ones that I'll be actually doing this month. Dedicatedly episodes for Genshin Naruto, so what if Naruto was in Genshin Impact? What if Naruto had Sunshine from the Seven Deadly Sins? And what if Asta was in Fairy Tail? So these three series, I'll be trying to get like 10 parts each, roughly, this month. So that's like every week, 10 parts, effectively. Maybe every other week or something like that. But my goal is to get these three series up to at least the close to their finale, if not already finished by the end of it. Some of them are pretty far along already, like Sunshine Naruto at like part 9, so let's hope we can do this. Anyway, why am I telling you this? Just make sure to drop down some OG series you guys want me to catch up on, because I'm trying to let myself marinate in some creativity. I'm trying to get some new what ifs ideas flowing. I have a list of what ifs I have in the background, my little secret notepad stash, and I'm actually going to be digging into those pretty soon, which is the first time that's happened since I made this channel. So almost 3 years since I started doing what ifs, and we're finally hitting my over like 150 titles of backup lists that from people who've been commenting over the years. Anyway, it's been like 3 minutes, so I'm just going to shut the hell up so you can come and watch what you came for. Speaking of coming and making sure that YouTube doesn't come inside my asshole, make sure to go and hit that notification bell so that you can come back and, see me more often, because apparently some people who I know are longtime subscribers just haven't been getting notifications. I mean, aside from the fact that there's nothing to be notified about, because of YouTube's algorithm just saying, "Fuck you, weeb, go suck on my balls." Thanks, Susan. But yeah, anyway, I will be seeing you guys in the video as well as in the next videos coming out. We're back. Let's do it. Yo, what is up, everybody? It's me, That One Weeb here, back with a brand new what if. This being what if Naruto was in Gurren Laggan. Now, for those of who have not seen Gurren Laggan, go watch it. It's amazing, and no matter what I do in this story, I don't think I can even do it justice. I'm going to try. I'm really going to try, but man, it is one of the best anime I've ever watched, and Studio Trigger is amazing. So please go watch Gurren Laggan, and I hope you guys enjoyed this story, this being what if Naruto was in Gurren Laggan. And before we get into it, I'll be explaining a few things before we get into the actual story, since some of you might be wondering a few things on how this is going to work. But yeah, with that fully disclosed, if you guys enjoy these sorts of series and want more full what-if stories like this, as well as just more what-ifs from me in general, make sure to, slap that little red button there, you know what I'm saying? And hit that subscribe button, like everyone tells you. Hit the like button, just boost me in the algorithm. It takes 1 second, would be really appreciated. And yeah, let's get into what if Naruto was in Gurren Laggan. Okay, so starting off, there's a few things I actually need to establish, and that is exactly how Gurren Laggan works. For those of you who are actually watching this without having seen the anime, I know, shocking. But anyway, for those of you who haven't seen Gurren Laggan, basically it takes place in a future where Earth is ruled by this person called the Spiral King, Lord Gnome, or Genome, whatever you pronounce that, I don't know. And he has forced all of humanity underground into these isolated subterranean villages. And so these villages have been underground for centuries. So, before we actually get into this, you guys might be wondering how Naruto is in Gurren Laggan, and that'll be due to no spoilers. Anyway, starting off, Simone and Kamina are both together, Kamina being the delinquent he was in the original, just down in their village with Simone drilling, with them eventually drilling around underground under the threat of constant earthquakes. Both of Simone's parents had died like this, and Simone himself was now about to be trapped. Kamina would try and grab him out as an earthquake was about to hit. Big bro, get back! Simone would yell, Kamina falling backwards as Simone kicks him, with Kamina getting moved just out of the way in time, as a huge rock would fall, with Simone himself getting slammed in the head. As Simone becomes unconscious, he would suddenly begin to remember things. What? What is this? Simone himself would begin to remember memories from a past life, this being his previous life, many centuries ago, before all of humanity had been forced underground. Is this the sky? He'd be thinking. He looked down at his hands as he looks into a mirror, seeing himself with bright blonde hair, as he hears someone call him Naruto. He would turn towards the voice. He sees a lady with pink hair, instantly knowing her name. Sakura. This is when I was the Hokage. Before. He'd remember Kurama's death, Ishiki Otsutsuki, and everything that happened. Everything that led up to his death. He had no idea what actually had happened after that point. Is Boruto okay, he'd be thinking? No way, this was centuries ago. How long ago was this? He'd be wondering, with Simone himself now getting confused. Who am I? Simone and Naruto's personalities are getting sort of mixed up here, with the two being complete opposites. Simone being a shy and gentle kid, and this Naruto having all of his experiences, being more confident and cocky. Simone would eventually wake up, remembering everything, as he remembers everything that had happened since, well, he died. With him now having both Simone and Naruto's memories together. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll be calling him Naruto from this point forward. Anyway, Naruto would turn around noticing something shiny in the dirt, with him still having the skills of a digger. Naruto would turn as he then grabs this weird-looking object. Huh? I can feel this chakra in it. This being the spiral power which it has become known as. Simone, or Naruto, would grab the key, as he then notices behind it a metal face. Huh? Suddenly, Kamina would come breaking through a shell from behind. Big bro? When Naruto turns to look at him, he sees Kamina in a reflection of Sasuke, causing him to jump a little. You good, Simone? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, Naruto would say, turning, as both he and Kamina have now found a gunman. Since the advancement of technology from all those centuries ago, manual chakra had been almost completely replaced with using these mechs to harness chakra instead, focusing on the actual battle spirit of the person wielding the weapon, rather than just the natural chakra they were born with. Naruto would recognize this somewhat, as he remembers some weird prototypes like this coming out towards the end, before the village had been destroyed. Naruto and Kamina would unman the gunmen, and just as they find this small little machine, Kamina would decide to name it Laggan, with him and now Simone being part of Team Gurren. They're going to go visit the surface world, Naruto remembering the sky. Naruto would agree, nodding, as he says that he definitely wants to see what's up above, wondering what happened to the Leaf Village and everyone else. Seemingly just as Kamina and Naruto had finished naming their gunman Laggan, suddenly a huge mecha would come crashing through the ceiling, as all rocks would be falling down as it begins to attack the village. Naruto would run in instinctively, with Kamina being sort of surprised at how active and courageous Simone was acting. What's going on with you today, huh? Kamina would say.
Naruto would run towards the action, as he would then jump inside the gunman piloting it, as he then takes the core drill and activates the gunman, plugging it into the machine as he turns it, using his chakra, which he can actually feel inside his body, to activate the mech. Naruto would be sort of surprised, feeling his chakra pool is so much smaller than before. There's only this much, he'd be thinking, with him even as a kid having more power than this. Suddenly, just as the gunman had crashed through the ceiling, a girl would jump down. A girl with pink hair, as she jumps in wearing a sniper rifle. This would be, of course, Yoko, as she tries to attack the gunman, blasting it with bullets. This is when Naruto runs in, thinking of Sakura, as he jumps in using Laggan, with Kamina now riding behind, as he then attacks the massive gunman with his drill, shattering through the gunman, the ceiling, and bringing him and Kamina up to the surface, as they crash through and enter into the sky. Naruto would look around, having seen the sun now for the first time in years. There would still be a small, dilapidated rock surface, this being the stone faces of the Hokage. What happened? Naruto would be looking at it, but it'd be in shambles. It would have been eroded by so much time that you could barely recognize it unless you'd seen it before. "What's wrong, Simone?" Kamina would ask. "Isn't it great up here? The air, the sky, isn't it amazing?" Naruto would turn looking up to him as he looks out over the horizon, thinking it is amazing. As the two crash down to the now ground level, this would be when Yoko would come crawling up from now the destroyed village roof, as she's heaving, thinking that was a ridiculous climb. She would walk over, seeing the two, as the two would ask her what that was, with her explaining the gunmen, as well as that her and humans now living on the surface are attacked every day by gunmen piloted by beastmen, these humanoid creatures who serve in Lord Genome's army. Now, Simone and Kamina being brought up to speed. Naruto would be thinking about all of this, looking around as there's almost nothing left. It must have been hundreds, no, thousands of years. Is that what Kawaki did to me, he'd be thinking? Remembering what Kawaki had done, saying he wouldn't be back in this world for a long time, protecting him from its evils. This being said right before he faded into unconsciousness, with him having woken up now in this different body, in a different life. Kamina and Naruto would go back with Yoko, going back to see the other human survivors in this wasteland. And eventually, another gunman would arrive the next day, with the two then attacking it. Naruto using Laggan, and Kamina helping him, as they would attack and hijack the gunmen. This being something no one had ever thought of doing before, with gunmen having been a weapon of the beastmen. Kamina would successfully defeat the beastmen inside of this mecha, with Laggan successfully taking it over. Naruto able to use his spiral power, or chakra, to actually manipulate the machine, using it to overwhelm the gunmen, thus creating Gurren Laggan. This partnership actually giving hope to the revolting humans trying to defeat Lord Genome. Naruto would remember his experiences with the Akatsuki, as well as Kara, with him thinking about who this Lord Genome could possibly be. Maybe Inotsutsuki? Anyway, life in the village of Ritona, where all the survivors have gathered, is actually pretty solid right now, with Naruto, or Simone, and Kamina being the main big hotshots of the new village that they found. Something interesting that I have neglected to mention until so far is that Naruto in Simone's body actually can use chakra and remembers hand seals. So he can actually use chakra, it's just he has a ton less right now, since it seems the planet itself has been devoid of chakra, or at least it had been sucked out at some point, with Naruto's chakra being incredibly small. He would wonder if Kurama might have even reformed after he had died. So while they're out here on the surface, Naruto will definitely be looking forward to seeing if he can meet Kurama again. With his rebirth, it appears most of, if not all of his six-path powers have been eradicated, along with the ability to be the host for the Tailed Beast Council. For some reason, it just didn't seem to be working. Naruto still can use Sage Mode, however, which drastically increases his spiral power. Almost as soon as Kamina and Naruto were celebrating their victory, it was the middle of the night, with them suddenly being attacked by another huge gunman. Naruto this time wouldn't hesitate, unlike Simone. Simone still being that unconfident kid he was back in the first quarter of the anime. Him and Kamina would leap into action, Kamina proud of his bro, saying that he's really believing in himself for some reason. Naruto would nod, saying, "Let's do this, Aniki," with him and his bro then going into Gurren Laggan against fighting this new gunman, which would be blasting them. This is being the one with the sunglasses. Now, Gurren Laggan would suddenly gain a huge power-up. Naruto telling Kamina to get ready, as Naruto would enter into Sage mode, causing Gurren Laggan to gain a ton of spiral energy, a huge drill now forming from its arm. "Let's do it," Naruto would say, the two attacking the gunman as they would shatter it, taking the sunglasses as Kamina, just like the original, would place it on its back, taking this weapon. Now we finally have Gurren Laggan, the mech, being almost complete to the point of where it was in the anime. For some reason, this gunman would have been not piloted. It must have malfunctioned or something, they'd be thinking. This would be when Yoko would explain that the beastmen, strangely enough, only come to attack in the morning, and then leave in the evening. Later that night, Kamina would thank Naruto, or Simone, saying how amazing he's been, and telling him that he feels a ton of confidence just coming off of him, saying to keep that spirit as he then takes his fist and puts it against Naruto's chest. Naruto would remember as he has this feeling, the feeling of someone believing in him. He'd look up to the starry night sky, making the same comment that Simone would have made in the original, thinking about all the people who have seen this starry night before they had. Kamina looking up and staring at it too for a while, the silence of the night making it feel like a moment that might last forever. Kamina would thank Simone for making his dream come true, that they were able to go above ground. Liron, one of the surviving humans from Yoko's group, would come over, interrupting this silence, as he then explains that it might have been that humans used to live above ground, with there being a lot of evidence. Naruto would nod at this, saying that it did used to be like that, with both Kamina and Liron looking at him as if though he just said something strange, before he realized it, nodding, and saying, "At least I think it did." Before Liron could criticize this judgment, Kamina would pat on the back, saying, "It's a gut feeling. I believe him too." Yoko would come by, asking Naruto if he could use his gunmen to bring the remains of the one they defeated back towards the village. Naruto would oblige, noticing her more feminine charms, causing his drill to light up. Wink, 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 not judge. Anyway, Naruto would use Laggan as he then drags the other gunmen back with Yoko. Yoko talking to Kamina as they're walking back and explaining that this isn't some wonderland that he thinks it is. Her village of Littner was underground too, but there was an accident that happened and they couldn't live there anymore. So when they came to the surface, this is what they have to resort to now, fighting the gunmen. The group eventually would arrive at Yoko's old cave village, and by the time that she brings Simone and Kamina some food, the two would already be fast asleep, with her having tried to thank Naruto. Kamina would end up having a dream of his youth, with him remembering he was a kid living down below, his father having showed him the surface of the planet. His father had told him that when he's ready, he should come to the surface to come meet him. Kamina remembering this is the last memory of his father. The next morning, a loud rumbling would shake the earth. This earthquake being the symbol that signifies that the gunmen were on their way. Everyone began to head out to go battle the gunmen, with Simon getting onto Laggan. But again, the machine doesn't seem to want to start up. Naruto, using some chakra, would eventually try and turn it on, with the machine seemingly fighting back. Other gunmen would come crashing into the ground, with Naruto remembering Simone's memories, that being of his parents, and the same sound. That the gunmen crashing to the ground was what was causing the earthquakes, the ones that had killed his parents. This would cause enough emotion inside of him to turn Laggan on, as Laggan and Naruto would then head towards the battlefield. Kamina's last spot that he took over had been destroyed in that fight, and this time he would have spotted an orange mech that he wanted, with him and Naruto charging into battle, him noticing Simone's feelings, as the two would then charge in. Kamina now getting on top of the gunman through Naruto's help with Laggan and breaking in, but as he tries to use the gunman, it would lock up, not working. Suddenly, from the battle, with the other mechs throwing his around, he would see the skull that Yoko had buried earlier, a skull they had found on their way home from the last fight during the nighttime. When he sees it, for some reason he'd feel an emotional charge inside of himself, as Kamina would activate the gunman, Just in a nick of time, he would throw another gunman off as Naruto was about to be crushed, almost having to use Sage Mode in Laggan. With Gurren 2.0, Kamina would then throw Naruto's mech Laggan with a cannonball-like throw, as Naruto turns into a giant drill, bashing through 2 gunmen and defeating them. As Kamina and Naruto push their way forward through the Spiral King's army, making their way towards Lord Genome. If you guys want to see the next couple of parts, there's like 3 or 4 parts left to this series, make sure to show support on this video and by hitting that like button, comment below what you thought, and subscribing to this channel. We are almost towards 30,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it. And also, YouTube, you know, just hates me, so make sure that notification bell. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for What If Naruto Had Sunshine. I'll see you guys later.